Hello, welcome back to Grey the Gold Witch. It's an honor to be here right now and to be doing you guys' tarot reading. I have 4 piles today about the magic that's coming into your life. I've just seen a lot of magical things happening around me recently, and I feel like something's in the air, so let's look in the air. The first pile we have is Labradorite. You can see the flashes. The lore of Labradorite is that it is the light of, or the northern light, the Aurora Borealis, I think is another name for it. And it was put in here by somebody who I can't think of his name, but some mythic person. The second is Celestite. This beautiful rock. This is also, I recently got this, and it's Celestite, and I'm so excited about it. So, and then the third is Lepidolite. And the fourth is so beautiful. I recently got this, and I'll figure out what the name is for the fourth pile, but right now I am blanking. But yeah, I hope you can see its loveliness, all of their loveliness. So yeah, I'll see you in your pile. Hey, pile 1. This is your crystal, the Labradorite, and it's funny, I was thinking about this as I started, or right before I started recording for you, that this crystal itself feels very magical. The reflection in it. And it's interesting because when it's in the right light, you see the beautiful light. I hope you get to see it too. And maybe there's things happening in your life that if you looked at them from the right angle, from the right perspective, you'd see the magic in them. But from different perspectives, other people might see it, might not be able to see that light. But there's a light to be seen in what's going on in your life, so that's cool. Let's get into, I think it, at least from my view, I can see it right there. So let's look at the incoming magic for you. What is coming in for pile 1? What magic is coming in? Okay. So we have the shadow, the orphan, and the threshold. Okay, so the magic coming in for you right now is the healing of a pattern that's been going on for a long time that has made you feel, I think this has to do with your worth and feeling you need appreciation from other people, care from other people to mean you're worthy. And this is something that is painful. It's painful when your shadow acts up like this, when this can look like a multitude of things, but an easy example of it is people pleasing. Feeling that earnestness to make someone like you. And this could be even at the abandonment of yourself. This can be you feeling it's so important to have this affirmation that you let go of what you want in favor of what other people want. And the threshold here is so beautiful. It reminds me that you're done with this. Look at the black and all these cards stepping into the light. You are losing this need to have people affirm you. Because I think you realize that the things they're affirming you about, or the things they see about you, aren't who you are. They might be a projection of who you think you should be. And I think now you're just owning who you are. You're not trying to get that feedback from other people. And this is in a way of self-love. You're authentically yourself, and this brings in the people that you're meant to be around. Because as your authentic self, you're able to see who lines up with that energy. And as you leave this space of needing this affirmation, a lot of darkness, a lot of bad vibes, and people who pull you down, hurt you, they're leaving your life. And this is so cool, because with the Labradorite, looking at things from a different perspective, maybe from an egoic lens, it looks like these people moving away, these people not aligning with you now that you're more empowered and in your true self. I mean, from the outside looking in, it could be sad to lose people. But when you look at it from the perspective of these people are leaving, these things in my life are leaving that were holding me back because I'm in a higher energy, and it's created the space for things that really fit and empower you to come in. That's such a blessing. And it's so cool that these cards note it so simply with the black and white. And then stepping into this color, I think you've chosen to live your life in color. And that's by letting go of this need to please everyone, this need to be who people want you to be or expect you to be, these societal conditionings. And you're entering a space where your heart is open, and the people that are meant to come in will come in. And the things that are meant to come in will come in. Because you aren't doing things for validation, you aren't doing things for egoic. I mean, ego, I think sometimes you can still be in the ego in a positive way. I think the ego is something that we have to form a relationship and work with. But I see your ego being healthy and not feeling like it needs to be, you need to win some awards or be friends with these certain people or impress this person. Your ego is right-sized and is also able to see that no person's better than anyone else. No thing is better than anyone else. So the things that you were trying to impress or achieve they've lost their power. They've been right-sized. They're not on that pedestal anymore. And man, this is really beautiful. I think this is a complete way of life shift. This is a perspective shift. This is really seeing the soul and abundance of your life and choosing this beautiful way of living, even if it doesn't make sense in a societal level, or like how humans perceive success, or how humans crave fame and crave just, there's things that are a part of modern day culture that are poisonous to us, and we're allergic to it, but we keep coming back to it and wonder why we struggle or are hurting. And you've been able to trust your soul to let go of these things and live a life of health, and where your soul remains very healthy. There's Clarissa Pinkola Estes, my girl, who wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves, she talks about how sometimes when societal conditions are so intense and oppressive, the soul will back away to find safety and to not have to be hurt by these things. So your soul is still, of course, there, but it's less prominent in decisions you're making in your life because it has to go to safety. And whenever you start living without focus on these things, when you start living for your soul, it comes back in and makes decisions with you. And there's just such fulfillment here that I see you've been guided to have, that this lesson has been meant to be learned. And yeah, I think you're going to see magic coming back into your life. And it's important to remember that we're still sometimes going to feel that pull towards societal expectation or towards people pleasing. You know, it's not black and white. We don't lose that pull. It can come back. It just loses its power on us. And so don't be hard on yourself when that thought process or egoic patterns come in. But remind yourself that the way you're living is so much more fulfilling, and you don't need to prove anything to anyone, because you know that you're worthy regardless of what happens outside of you. Okay, so let's look at the alchemy deck. What magic is coming in for pile 1? Hi, Mona. You come here. So we have Neptune. Ooh. So for some reason, I just heard get your freak on. I think you're letting your individuality come out, and it's because of your relationship with spirit. You're able to feel that affirmation from spirit, that soul connection, and it's allowing you to act from what your soul tells you. Hey, Mona, come here, baby. Come here. My cat is trying to get my attention, but also isn't coming. I think something important is that you can't change what other people do or their behavior, and people might be expecting you to take on more than is possible for you to take on. And I think when this happens, you're really meant to connect with your higher power and see that they can do this for the people in your life. Your higher power can work on these people as it's worked on you. And I think that that's super important to recognize. And it takes a lot of pressure off of ourselves, because also, like, this lesson you've learned, this ability to live in your soul, it was done, you learned it through divine connection. The universe, spirit helped you learn this, gave you this lesson, gave you the gift of learning it, and that's how you've gotten to this point. So when things outside of you are going wrong, trust that the higher power that helped you is helping those things too. And I think that this trust in spirit, this trust in movement forward, will never lead you astray. if you're ever caught up in the societal BS, I think you really just can lean on this connection with the universe. The universe will communicate with you. It will give you signs. It will tell you things through what other people say, or you'll just hear spirit speaking, reassuring you, telling you you're on the right path. With angel numbers, sometimes I learn that they relate to something specific, but when I don't have that connection in my mind yet, I look at them and I think that Spirit's telling me I'm on the right path, simply. And this kind of reassurance is something that's very important to me. So maybe that's something you see as well. I think there's something here about the power of speaking to Spirit is stronger than sometimes we realize. That this asking of our soul for help is what brings it in. And I think your soul cried for help in these oppressive environments. And that's how you found this new life, this peace. Yeah. So I think also whatever house Neptune's in your chart could be significant to how you're dealing with social things around you right now and how you're meant to protect yourself with them. So now we'll look at the animal spirit cards for incoming magic. The oyster, the moth, and the bat. Okay, there's a wisdom coming here because in our weaker ego, we can look at anything and be like, the grass is greener on the other side. This is very much like nothing is satisfying. Like when you have short hair, you're like, oh, I want long hair. When you have long hair, you're like, oh, I wish I had short hair. That's a ridiculous example, but we always want what we don't have. That's something the ego really drives into us. And you're learning how to find satisfaction through the awareness of that fact, knowing that this is how we are made to feel, but we don't have to feel that way. And I think something that will really make you feel empowered when you feel, oh, I wish I could handle these social conditionings. I wish I could be normal. I'm doing the air quotes normal. Realize that in those spaces, you can never share your true voice and your true gifts. They would always be locked inside of you. You wouldn't be able to open up. And I think that that's something that your magic wouldn't be able to come through. And there's something here with this bat about deeper wisdom, about transformation, being able to be true to yourself and see your power. Bats are nocturnal, and the night and the moon, I relate to the subconscious, especially because we dream at night. It just clicks for me. And I think you're owning that part of you, this part of you that can live in the subconscious and have a relationship with it. Yeah. The magic for you is that you have this connection with spirit and that you're able to go into the night, metaphorically, without fear. And I think this is something that, this is your secret weapon. I don't think you see this as the weapon it is, but this is how you fight against those things that take from you, that limit you, that don't give you what you deserve. So let's look at planetary cards. I don't love the way they sound when they shuffle. Okay. So we have 22. 22. Okay, so 22 might have been an age, or will be one, that really starts this spiritual journey for you, that brings you into this life. And it might not have been intentional. It might have happened through events that you can't really explain, or a need that was in you that was answered, this magic. And every magical thing that happens in your life is through this threshold you walked through. You're able to see it because you don't live in that dual reality anymore. There's something about color here. I think maybe this is so funny. So I was in Peru and they have color everywhere, all over their houses. It feels very soulful. Color is the soul expressing itself. And this color that's been brought into your life is meant to be treasured. It's meant to be yours. And there's something about relationship with each of the colors and how it works on you that's significant. I don't know. I'm thinking about the fact my go-to color that I wear is black. I'm very much protected in, I protect myself in how I present. The ego, I've read things about the ego in dressing, and dressing is a way of showing who you are to the world. And I tend to hide that with black, but I feel like I live this color. This color is my inner world. This is how I respond to the world. But I want to be protected. And I don't know if that's relevant to you, but I think there's something sacred about color. And yeah, there's something about that here. I don't really know what this specifically means, but I think if it'll resonate with the people that have this really personal, sacred relationship with color. So, yes, let's look at the tarot cards for what magic's coming in. This is so funny. I don't know what's funny, but I just got this new deck that is so lovely and beautiful. And yeah, maybe there's some of the magic coming into your life is this color, is this fulfillment, is this connection to beauty. Okay, that message is super abstract for me, so I hope it resonated with somebody. So, incoming magic, we have the moon, the sun, Judgment, and the Star. And these cards I've been using for the last few days. So they aren't like crazy shuffled, but I still think that this is what was meant to happen. The magic coming in for you is, look at this threshold, Judgment. You have been given this gift, and you've been given this ability to see in color. Yeah, maybe the subconscious is this blackness for you, but it allows you to express life in color and see life in this color. Yeah, there's something here about perspective, seen in black and white or seen in color. And this magic is you being able to see this color. So there must be some people who, synesthesia, there's something like that there's one when you eat. Oh God, I wish I knew what that was called. I have this with numbers, and yeah, it's like you can feel the vibration, you can feel the identity of colors. Yeah, so this magic is really your ability to see from these angles, to have this intimate connection with the universe. I'm thinking about Avatar right now, with the Star card. Yeah, these cards kind of remind me of Vincent van Gogh, and they remind me of Avatar. And oh, it's just so cool. But the indigenous people in Avatar connect with Earth in a very sacred way, connect with life as a connection. Okay, so the incoming magic for you is this connection with life and not just people. The incoming magic is your relationship, your connection to Earth, your connection to the moon, to color, to different colors. You're living with relationship to these things that most people see but can't feel that connection with them, feel that experience with them. And this is reminding me of psychedelics in a way, feeling that connection to Earth and to everything around you in such a multi-dimensional way. And yeah, oh my goodness, I could really see the people watching this being painters, being very expressive with color. You might be very intentional with the colors you use and the colors you wear. And yeah, this is really about connection and how you integrate it into your life. I think you subsist off of, or this connection to the energy around you really sustains you. And you're meant for this. You're meant to have this beauty. And oh my gosh, this is just so soulful and can give you so much more abundance than any limited egoic relationship can. So anytime I feel like you have this connection, but I'm kind of seeing this for myself. Anytime you are upset about relationships not working out, about egoic things happening, maybe things you wish didn't happen, perceived mistakes, all these perceptions of egoic life, looking at what it's brought you, how it's brought you this connection to everything else, and to others who have this connection too, because there are people in your life who are going to be living this with you, and they might not see it as consciously, but they live with the same value system. And oh my goodness, Pile 1, this is very, very, very beautiful. And I never would have expected starting this reading having these insightful, abstract things come through. And I hope that I explained it or spoke in a way that gives clarity. Because this is so beautiful. Yeah, I think what's need to be said has been said. So I'll leave it there. It was such an honor to read for you. And I will see you in another reading. Bye. Hey, Pile 2. If you chose the Celestite, then this is your reading on incoming matching for you. So something I feel with this crystal is really the concept of a multitude of lives and us being able as energetic beings to go to other planets and live other lives on other planets. This is very much the starseed sort of crystal. This is the strongest I feel that sort of resonance to that concept. And this really makes me feel just like there's so many more possibilities and lives to be lived and experiences to be had that we can't even conceptualize on Earth. The universe is so big. There's an infinite amount of space to explore. And there's something very beautiful and ethereal about this crystal. And that's how it feels to me. So getting into your reading, that is something that will be on my mind. So let's look at the archetype deck for incoming messages. I think it's scary sometimes to know or to have this understanding of life that's so much bigger than our lived reality, because the enormity of life and what we don't understand is breathtaking. For some reason, I'm thinking about Breathless. It's a French film. It was New Wave. I'm blanking. But that film just came to mind. So let's look at the archetype cards. So I have the Self, the Vessel, the Flame, the Vision, and the Ocean. Okay, I feel you're very connected with the elements right now. Fire and water, air, earth. You might be interested in some things you've never been interested in before, like maybe chemistry. How, for me, I got really interested in how batteries are made recently, and I've done a lot of research on that. I don't know where it came from. I've never been really inclined towards chemistry or those topics, but there's something about it that I just really had the urge to know. And I think that you are connecting with these elements, connecting with learning in a way you haven't before. I think the more you see the sacredness in this life, you see it in yourself. And you see, I see you being in awe of like little concepts. Like one I'm thinking of is that we have these vessels, we have cups, we have I mean, YouTube's a vessel to hold my tarot readings. Our bodies are vessels to hold our spirits. There's just so many vessels are just such vessels. Like, movies are a vessel to contain meaning and purpose. So are like paintings, and so we're vessels for spirit to talk through us, to spirit to work through us, especially as tarot readers. This is really, really, really cool. I think magic for you is seeing things as vessels, containers, how to contain these emotions and this sacredness. Like how candles are a fire, a house fire contains the flame. I think you've realized something in your life is a vessel for something sacred in your life. And spirit has been pushing you towards it. And you're meant to use it. And it will feel just as fundamental as the elements. You creating this is like very much divine work. And through it, you'll express your whole self, your whole soul. This is what's meant to happen. And yeah, there's an alchemy here of bringing together different things to create this magic. Yeah, the incoming magic is this process of elements coming together, whether metaphorically or physically, to create this new life, this new experience, this new art. Yeah, this is really cool. This magic is something definitely we need to dive more into, because this is very abstract, and I understand sort of like my mind doesn't have, I think, the level of consciousness to fully bring this in. And its connection to the elements and its connection to self. These feel like really big fundamental lessons. This feels like something fundamentally sacred about life and about the world is happening in your life. It is something that is a soul being manifested into the world, and kind of is what I think life is about in all avenues of life, is this process. No matter what planet you're on, no matter what you're experiencing, this is an experience that life, our souls, really treasure. So, whoa, that's crazy. Let's go on to the alchemy deck, since I saw some alchemy here. I remember in college I made this experimental art piece that I called Alchemy, and it was me but it was about the 4 elements and how they work in my life, how abstractly, like I had this curtain with a rotoscope camera that's like this old sort of invention that inverts photos and is able to show I might not be able to conceptually explain it, but I also dealt with water burning out candles. It was a really soulful project. And I remember in class in my film class, they were critiquing it, and somebody was like, alchemy is turning things into gold. It's not bringing together flame and water. And I remember just like being like, I'm not even going to say anything, because it's such a more sacred, fundamental experience. Maybe this is an act of alchemy that's happening in your life. And alchemy is the process of elements coming together to form sacred things. I mean, alchemy is such a beautiful, large topic that I don't think I can do it right to fully explain it. Kim Krans has an alchemy deck that does a good job of, the book does a good job of explaining this experience. And yeah, I think that could be really helpful for you. So with alchemy, we have Uranus. I was thinking about this card during pile one, and Jupiter. All right. So this sort of experience is just as natural to life as the planets are to the solar system. It's meant to happen. It's meant to orbit around your life force. Uranus is about individuality, and Jupiter is about, and uniqueness, and Jupiter's gifts and blessings, expansion. And I see your unique blueprint, your unique path is magnifying. It's in this very soulful way. And it's just very fated. I think whatever's happening in this experience for you, it's exactly what was meant to happen, and you deserve it, and you were made for this. And I think you're working closely with the life cycles of the planets, of elements. You're working with these very fundamental laws of the universe, these beautiful things, these beautiful constants. And as you work with these, as long as you stay true to who you truly are and to these experiences, you'll remain in this constant state of being with these things. There's a lot of blessing here. And yeah, also that's funny because I was talking about living on other planets. Here we are with these. And I think this is also saying, like, Earth obviously works on us deeply, but these other planets in our solar system really are affecting us. And really, I mean, people who follow astrology feel this way, but I've never felt it in the sense of like this personal connection, and also how these planets also have these 4 elements. And yeah, that's, hopefully we can dive deeper into that, because I'm like, these messages are so powerful. I feel like kind of intimidated that they're coming through me, because I just want to do a good job and give you the message in the right way, or how it's meant to come. And I think that's also a level of perfectionism that might be brought up here, that Spirit's asking you to let go of, in this because this is fundamentally meant to happen. This is part of your destiny, and it will unfold as it's meant to unfold. And that's just because of who you are and what was meant for you. So I think letting go of that perfectionism and trusting in the elements and in the fundamental laws of the universe will give you a lot of peace and not make you feel that perfectionistic anxiety. So we have the camel. So I think for a long time you have gone without this nourishment, this affirmation, this trust. I think, and this can be in the past, but I think there's something your soul has really craved, and you've been a warrior in trusting it's coming. And I'm kind of thinking of a North Star and following it to your destiny, to your destination. I see you doing that, you following that path, trusting in it, being this camel who can survive off of little water. And this water I'm thinking of as soulful energy, soulful, that knowledge that you were waiting for. But you trusted that as long as you continued towards that North Star, it would come. And yeah, man. I went to this planetarium that was talking about how the Southern Cross is the equivalent of the North Star in the Southern Hemisphere. And I think, and I hadn't realized that there was one for both. So I think Spirit's really making it clear that if you don't relate to one, or you feel like what's meant for you is on the other side. It's like if you feel like you're in the Southern Hemisphere waiting for the North Star, there's the Southern Cross that's waiting for you, and you haven't seen it, but it's meant to guide you, and it's just as sacred. And I think this is meant to be healing, and yeah, you know what I'm talking. I don't know. I think that's the thing. We don't know many things, but we know to follow our North Star or the Southern Cross. We can keep following it towards these answers. So let's look at the celestial beings cards. Okay, we have 9. So 9's all about travel, philosophy, just that intellectual freedom. And it can also be about learning, and the list goes on. I'm a life path 9 in numerology. That might be something you would be interested in looking at if you have a 9 life path year coming up, or if you have it in your numerology chart. I think you're in a phase where the universe is revealing a lot of wisdom to you about your life, about how the world works, about why you're here, and how you're just experiencing this revealing of what's behind the veil. And this could be done, I think, through studying philosophy, through traveling, through learning new things, learning earthly things that teach you about spiritual things. because they're mirrors. Yeah, maybe we could look at the North Star and the Southern Cross as spiritual and material. And we're on the material plane looking for the spiritual answer, but maybe we'll find it through the material. We'll be given that spiritual answer. Or if we know it spiritually, there's a mirror in the world that is its equivalent, or is the lesson in human form, in material form. You're seeing a fundamental spiritual fact, being created in the material world. Yeah, okay. So let's look at tarot cards now. What incoming magic is coming for Tarot 2? We have Page of Chalices, the Tower, and Judgment. So I love the Page of Chalices in this deck. It talks about the sacredness of this water, and the page bringing that out into the world and sharing that with the world, and how the cup holds it, and it talks about the sacred relationship, the friendship between the page and the cup, knowing the value they bring to each other. And yeah, I see a moment happening that you didn't expect to happen. And the Tower card in this deck is so interesting because it feels like there's this house here, this manor. It feels like one of those fairy tales where there's this like hole underneath and there's another world to go into. And same with the Judgment card, there's another world to go into. And another experience to be had. And so I think what's happened in your life is that you knew one normal reality, and now you're experiencing a different reality of that you had only seen in your dreams, that had only ever felt intangible, that had always felt kind of a spiritual fact, but you hadn't seen it in the material world. And it's coming in, it's becoming your reality. And wow. I keep thinking this was not on my bingo card. People say that about things that happen in the year. Like, I don't know, just this person and this person dating, that wasn't on my bingo card, or I don't know, silly stuff like that. I think you'd say this wasn't on your bingo card. So and your connection with the elements is something you're meant to hold on to. This fundamental connection with the world and with the planets. Nothing has changed. These are all constants. So even if your life starts to feel different, even if things are different materially, your soul and everything else is the same. Everything is as it should be. And I'm really seeing your spiritual world being reflected in the material world. So this deck also comes with another deck that's oracle cards, but also tarot cards. And I am going to, I don't know, I think it's called the Cosmic Visions Oracle. And I'm seeing this cosmic nature of what's going on. The cosmic the Cosmic Tree. So this is the equivalent of the Hermit card. And the Cosmic Tree is about the sacred knowledge that all life comes from, the sacred space. I kind of see this as the energy of the spirit realm, kind of that world, the Cosmic Tree being that world. And something's coming in from it that you'd always felt was coming in. And now it's real. And you're figuring out the alchemy of merging the physical and the spiritual. You're integrating it into your life, and I see you feel this strongly. And also in Avatar, there's that tree that's like the sacred tree of life, and I see that this is where you're getting your wisdom from. This is where your care and love give you this knowledge. And I think anytime this change, this new reality overwhelms you, I think you're meant to remind yourself of the fact that the tree is still the same, the elements are still the same, the planets are still the same. Yeah, you're meant to hold on to those constants. So, yes, pile 2, this feels very powerful. Nietzsche is coming into my head. He wasn't able to rely on constants. He fell into his inner world, and Carl Jung talks about how when he was exploring the universe and the subconscious, he really leaned on the constant of his family and just tangible things. And I think it's really important to, when you're going through a reality shift like this, to have those constants and reflect on them when things feel unmanageable or, I don't know, wild. So yes, this is what I'm getting for you, pile 2. This magic is beautiful, and I am interested in what you guys think of this or what experience you've had, because this is something very like shamanic, deep ancestral wisdom. So you'll have to let me know more about what this is. So thank you for listening. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you in another reading. Bye. Okay, pile 3. If you chose the Lepidolite, then this is your reading on incoming magic for you. So let's get into it. Lepidolite always reminds me of caring for others, working in a way that's of service to others, whether that be for a career or doing service work, or I don't know, that's what it always reminds me of. I don't know if that is applicable to this reading, but I thought I'd say it anyway. So let's see, incoming magic. We have the Father and the Pilgrim. I'm hearing you're about to set sail. So incoming magic for you is the freedom to roam, the freedom to explore new places, and do this with authority and do this with trust in yourself that you can handle whatever happens. This is very much like you are your own protector. You are, and you feel that protection in you. Like you can trust yourself in intense situations that you can protect. And I think you also are realizing that you have this gift for making people feel safe. And you're realizing that you can use this gift anywhere. It's not just one place that you're able to use this gift. This is a gift you have for this lifetime, where you offer this protection, this security, this stability. And incoming magic for you, I think, is you having examples and opportunities to see how you're able to do this, how you're able to affect other people. You're able to help people rise in their energy level and also meet them where they are. I think you're a mentor. You teach through your actions, and I don't think you realize how big of an influence you have on the people around you. And something that Spirit's really bringing in here is that just because you offer this protection, this security at some point to a group or to whoever, that doesn't mean you can't go and roam and do this for other groups and do this in other situations. I think maybe something that's hard for you is leaving situations you're a part of. This is reminding me of Nanny McPhee and how she leaves once she's done the work she needs to do. And I feel like this is kind of what Spirit's saying here is don't feel bad when it's time for you to go. Because you going isn't saying that you aren't this protector. It means you've fulfilled that purpose and it's time for you to move on to another avenue where you can help others. So I think this magic is you realizing that the things you've had to leave were successes in themselves because they brought you to the next thing that you're meant to help, you're meant to work on. Yeah, I think you might have some guilt about leaving certain situations. And you're not meant to. You're meant to be proud of yourself for the work you've done and know that there's more for you to explore. You're not meant to be confined in this life. And I think also this incoming magic is a new opportunity to give, to use these gifts and feel that purpose in them. Because I feel like you get a lot of purpose out of this service work, out of helping others, making them feel secure in themselves. Because you're secure in yourself, they learn how to be secure in themselves too. There's something here about you being able, you're being put in a new environment to work on this. And it's like your Nanny McPhee with a new family. That's so funny. That's awesome. So yeah, I see this coming in as a new opportunity to be this aid. And yeah, it's really important you know that you're meant to do this for various things, for a multitude of things in your lifetime. So really, you're not meant to stay attached to one experience you're having, because you are meant to flow and bring this into other groups and into other experiences, and you're not meant to stay stagnant for very long. And maybe you have the shadow archetype, the shadow of the father archetype is leaving or abandoning, and maybe that's what you fear you're doing. But you are not a father here. You are giving father-like characteristics. You're protecting, you're teaching security and autonomy. But this is a role that you're meant to have transiently and continue to roam and do this in different places. So don't identify with that archetype too heavily, because you need to lean more into the pilgrim, the roamer, the free, trying new experiences, not being stuck or limited. So yeah, there's this writing I did, man, it was 5 years ago, where I wrote about this girl who was in a community that was very strict, that you had to live in that community, do certain things. Your life was already planned for you. But she had the option of going into the forest, and she'd heard stories about these wise women in the forest who live a different life, who lived a life of freedom. And she went there and had to make a choice between this life that's been mapped out for her and the unknown. And I think that you really are meant to go into the unknown. So it says nothing about you when things that are mapped out don't work, because you are being energetically pulled always into this unknown new territory. So yeah, that's cool. Let's look at the alchemy cards. Pluto. Okay, so there's big change happening in your life right now. An overhaul where you're really being moved into a completely different energy. You're still, the point of it, the purpose is for you to use these gifts, but it's showing up in a very different way than you've experienced in the past. And it's difficult because you have seen it these ways. It's hard for you to wrap your mind around that this is how it's meant to be, that this is the project you're meant to work on right now, the place you're meant to be. And Spirit's really saying, treat this as your next project. It's not permanent. You will roam, but there's something to be done here. There's a purpose. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason you're doing this. And this feels like it has far more purpose and importance than you could realize. So I think maybe it's something that you wouldn't have put in this box of service work, or put in this idea of what, you're meant to do. I think it's something kind of out of the box that you hadn't expected. You'd never seen this type of situation as that work, but it's exactly where you're meant to be, and you're going to feel pulled towards it. Pluto is the energy of Pluto pulls. It's very intense. It tells you where to go. So this isn't something you can miss. This is something that's going to really pull you towards it. And Spirit's saying, trust in it. And trust, I also think that there's something here about this being a transient experience that you're meant to hold on to, that this is an important part of your process in this life, but it's not something that you'll be working on for that long, I think is what Spirit's saying. So let's look at the camel cards. Oh, so many. I said camel cards. That's funny. Pile 2 got the camel. Pretty relevant. Okay. So the zebra is all about travel and exploration and freedom, going new places, listening to your third eye. I think this third eye moment you're having is related to Pluto. You're having that pull towards something, even if it's hard to comprehend or explain. So, incoming magic is you being led to a new experience you haven't had. And not only are you giving your gifts to it, but it's shaping you as well. And it's giving you this new perspective on life, this new perspective on how things fall together, how you can experience things in a way that isn't just in your face. I think there's something here about the nuance of these experiences and you having more of a complicated one that's giving you more growth, rather than, let's say you're doing this protective security safety work for a nonprofit or a something like this, social work, and this is something completely different. Like, you are traveling and you get pulled towards some job you never would have expected you done, or some sort of community you never expected to work with, or an experience you never expected you'd have. And it's part of this gift. It's part of this expansion. It's part of being this free person. So I think you're stepping a little bit outside of, you're leaning more into the roaming pilgrim side of this gift and less into the stagnancy, the consistency, the practicality. And that's so important. That's a really important part of this. And I think your foundation's in this, but that's why you're getting you're learning a different lesson here. You're experiencing a different thing. So let's look at the celestial bodies. There's a lot of cards. Oh no, not as many as I thought. Saturn return, new moon, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. Okay, so this experience you're having is very destined. It's absolutely meant to happen. Saturn return is 27, 29, really also having to do with life purpose, kind of revealing where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do. And it's difficult, it's uncomfortable. And I think you've been thrown into a completely new situation with the new moon here. It's like you're in a new chapter. And I think something really profound will happen in the next eclipse cycle that you're experiencing this. I think you'll be able to you'll have clarity on what this is and how it's related to your Saturn return. You're just going to have a lot of clarity in this time. But yeah, this is a new thing and you're not going to be the same after it. And I see this being something that, although it's transient, it is an experience that will have an impact and it's a significant experience that I don't see it being short. I don't see it being long. I see it somewhere in the middle. So, Saturn return. Yeah, I just think that this is affirming the fact that this will be a little uncomfortable. This will be very powerful. This will feel like destiny and out of your hands. And this is meant to put you in a powerful position in a way you've never been before. It's meant to intensify your power and show you what you're capable of. So, interesting. Let's look at the tarot cards now. What is this incoming magic for pile 3? We have the Fool at the back of the deck. Total new chapter. The Nine of Pentacles. So this is you doing something very independently. The work you're doing, you aren't needing extra support, you do, but you can rely on yourself for the most part and rely on your intuition, and you don't need a ton of advice from other people because you know what you're meant to do here. Eight of Pentacles. Yes, I think a big part of this too is putting in the work. That's Saturn return, is really putting in the work. And this will be a process that I think you really have to put in a lot of yourself and effort into it. And I see you reaping so many rewards soulfully. Look at these flowers, how beautiful this is. You're coming into harmony with this path you're meant to be on. And yeah, I just see this being very grounded, this being something you can actively act towards. And right now, you might not see how it's going to come in. You might not see, because you've planted these seeds, you've been waiting for clarity. I see this clarity coming in. These cards are so freaking cool, sorry, because they tell a story. All of the cards line up. So, but there's something here about this not being linear, that because of your self-sufficiency and because of the work you put in, you'll see how these seeds were able to grow. It's like more so you'll be looking back on the Seven of Pentacles. It's not like when you're in it, you'll really think about it. It's when you look back and see what you were capable of. Ace of Wands. This is something you're super passionate about. And I think you're very passionate about this protective sort of gift you have, this sort of this gift of safety, this gift of teaching people how to be secure. You're very passionate about it, and you know that it's meant to come in other forms. I think the forms it's come in so far have been beautiful and amazing, but you have noticed that there was meant to be some sort of shift. And Eight of Cups, yeah, there is meant to be some sort of shift. You were meant to leave that way of doing it into a new form. And that's clearly what's being said here. Yeah, and I think that it is very easy to question and imagine and second guess what this is meant to be. But with the Pluto card, I really see this being drawn into your life. You don't need to get caught in the fantasy of this because it will be so grounded. And you're meant to know that there is security here. You are your own security. As this protector who's taught so many people how to protect and find security in themselves, you are living that life for yourself. And it's just another way it's in an empowered way I think you were really focused on giving, and now you're focused on building yourself up to give from an even more empowered place. So with the Six of Chalices, you're going to meet some people who you know are fated to come on your journey, you know are part of this with you. And I think it'll be through this experience, through going out of your comfort zone. I mean, like, look how cool this is. Yeah. You'll feel spirit in this. You'll feel it all around you, how you're meant to go this way. And you'll have helpful guides on the way to this, as well as having this love towards yourself, this soulmate kind of love. I think you're going to realize that you are your greatest gift in this process, that you are who saves you, you are who loves you, you are, your soul is the biggest empowerment for you. So, 5 of Chalices. I think something, frankly, that's going on here is a nostalgia towards the past, a kind of skewed perspective on what these past events have looked like, and a fear of stepping into something different because you are comfortable in what has been in the past. And even though I'm seeing here, this is leading to so much more empowerment and abundance and autonomy and experience. I don't know if I already said that. It's easy to look on the past and look on what has had to leave for this to come in. And I think Spirit's advice here with this is really just to let these feelings flow. Don't resist them. This is a part of human nature. Anyone would be feeling this way. And this will leave as this new energy continues to come in. I mean, the 8 of Cups, we always mourn what we have to leave. It's part of life, and I think that might be what's really scaring you, is this feeling. And this feeling makes you hesitant towards the future because you're like, oh, if I feel this way, does this mean that what's coming is really what's right for me? And it is. You're just holding on to things from the past that are making this process heavier. I remember like 6 years ago, I had this dream that was like the Panama Canal was a water slide or like a rafting slide. I don't know. And people took it to go from one journey to another. And I had all of this luggage, all of this packages with me. And the people who let people on the canal in my dream were like, you can't take any of this. You're not going to be able to cross this canal and do this if you hold on to this. And so I let it go and went down the water slide or whatever my dreamlike brain turned it into. So, yeah. These things will inevitably fall away, though, as these new experiences come. But I think that Spirit's wanting to tell you that the reason you feel this uncertainty, the reason you feel hesitation is because of the baggage that you're still carrying. 4 of Chalices. Wow, this is really... And I think that a way to heal from this Man, this is just so beautiful. Reminds me of Van Gogh. I think a way to get out of that mindset is to remember how stagnant you were and how you were pretty disillusioned in that time. It's easy to romanticize that time, but you were waiting for a moment like this to happen. This is what you've been dreaming of. And I think right now you're sitting on this little island and you aren't able to see all of the color that's coming. And all you have to do is turn around and look at it and trust that it's coming in. You are not being. I think it's easy to wonder if the Seven of Cups is coming up here strongly, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is your dreams of what your gifts can do are becoming real. Three of Chalices. You're really going to have connections and experiences in life that feel completely connected to you. The people in your life are meant to show you the possibilities here and not keep you stuck in this. It's like these are the fates that are like, come on, we're going to go experience this. And you're meant to trust it and trust in the people in your life who motivate you towards this. Yes, so also being in the situation from the past or still having one foot in, one foot out the door, it can cause that confusion. But this really is a glass half full, glass half empty. What perspective do you want to have? What's coming, or focusing on the difficulty that's leaving, even if you can't really see it leaving as a human in your 3D experience. Okay, so I want to look at the oracle cards that come with this deck. I didn't see myself using them, but something's calling me towards them. So let's see. What is their incoming match? The Peacock, the Empress, the Fighter, and the Vessel, which is the Devil. If you're looking towards material things, material successes, what you can gain from this future, that's going to keep you stuck. If you see how you already are this future, how you already are this person who has these things, who is this, and that's why you're moving into this reality. As we talked about before, you are this protector, you're this fighter, you have this strength. When you really internalize that, realize that it's always been a part of you, and you're not the things you gain materially here aren't the point. The point is expressing your gifts in this way, helping people in this way, helping yourself in this way. So I think it's really important that when you're feeling this disillusionment, realizing you might be putting too much of an emphasis on this rather than who you already are. Because when you focus on who you are, you feel secure in this. So I'm going to look at the book for the Fighter, because these, instead of court cards, this deck has different kinds of people. But the mirror card for this is the Knight of Swords. Head in the clouds, the fighter is impulsive and quick to act. They take no direction from others and live for one reason: to overcome adversity. If you see the fighter in a reading, ask if every battle is worth the brawl, or if passivity can lend a more helpful hand. If others have found you to be impulsive in your actions, this can easily be perceived as vengeful behavior. No one wants to be known as the one who's constantly picking fights for the sake of action. Okay, so this is really Spirit saying you're more in resistance to this than you think. Your psyche is aware of the devil-like nature here, as well as feeling whether you deserve it. You're really just in resistance. And when you're in resistance, you can have impulsive thoughts that you take as truth, or do things that aren't aligned with you because you're looking for answers here. And as this fighter, you're meant to come back into yourself, who you are, and the real values of why you're doing this. You're not doing this for material achievement. You're doing this for the soulful impact. And you don't need to fight against material achievement or against change in your life. You're really meant to, if you stay secure in your values and who you are, you won't feel the need to have this fight. So yeah, pile 3, this is a great reading, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you in another reading. Bye. Hey, pile 4, if you chose this bad boy, this is your reading on incoming magic for you. So my phone is not here currently. I'll add a little subtitle of what this crystal is. I recently got it, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I do know that it is man-made. It's not like of the earth. So yeah, I don't know if that's relevant. Also, I recently learned about Cat's Eye, and I've been listening to their music, and I just think they're so cool. So if that comes up, I don't know, maybe that's relevant, maybe it's not. Okay. So let's look at the archetype deck for incoming magic for you. So we have the Father and the Pilgrim. Okay, this is exactly what came out for the first pile, or the third pile, so we're going to do this. What message, what incoming magic is coming for pile 4? I do think this could be a double confirmation. This incoming magic could be confirming something that you've already felt and known, but it feels good to have that confirmation that it's coming. So I think that's part of the magic that's coming in, is that affirmation. So we have the Starborn. So you're stepping into your destiny, frankly. And that's part of what the Father and the Pilgrim are talking about. But I see this as more glamorous. This is more, I don't want to use the word artificial, but I'm seeing that this being more smoke and mirrors, like the idea of magic in the sense that sleight of the hand, or that sort of kind of magic, kind of illusionary illusions. For example, Showgirls, Life of a Showgirl, Taylor Swift, they have this illusion of complete charisma, confidence. Sabrina Carpenter kills it. She's like an amazing showgirl. Taylor Swift as well. Cat's Eye. So there's something here about people being impressed with people putting you on a pedestal, life seeming magical in a sense that might be slightly illusory, slightly that illusion of perfection. And I think this incoming magic is also just to tell you that you have a destiny, you have this beautiful soul, but don't get caught up in the appearances of this, of the material nature of this, because so much of this comes from the soul. But our world is so good at making things egoic, making things artificial, making things, we live in an attention economy. Everyone strives for this perfection, but in the end, it's not spiritually substantial. And I think that that's what Spirit's saying is there's something coming in, there's magic where you feel magical, where your life feels magical. And you're being reminded that this is a human perspective on magic. And it's important to get to the root of what this magic is on a spiritual level. And when we were looking at that Father card and that Pilgrim card, I felt that same spiritual mission, the magic of who you are as this free spirit, as this protector, as this, your magic is enticing. People are drawn to it. It's beautiful. It's otherworldly, but it's not what you're supposed to define yourself as. It's not how you're not other people's perception of you. You are your truth of who you are and Spirit's truth of who you are. And yeah, there's a fine line with that. I think this magic that's coming in, no matter where you're at in this, of kind of this star quality, more is coming in. And it's brilliant. Stars are beautiful. I love planetariums and looking at the stars, and there's just like a trick of the eye here that just because other people put you on this pedestal doesn't mean you should put yourself on this pedestal. It's important that you realize that this is an illusion, that this star power that these people are enamored by is illusionary. And you don't want to claim it, because that's when you start to think it comes from you and lose that groundedness and humility. So let's look at the alchemy cards. Hey, pile 4. So basically what just happened was my dog was barking incessantly at someone at the front door, and it was really frustrating. I couldn't speak because it was so loud, and I had to cut it out. I'm thinking, in regards to your reading, there's some loud people, some nuisances, some loud energies that make it hard to enjoy what you're doing sometimes. And you're being reminded that you can withdraw your energy whenever you feel overwhelmed like that. You can take a step back. You can give yourself that space to collect yourself and feel like a person rather than a concept, is what's going through my head. So let's look at the archetype cards. We have Jupiter, Sparks of Light, and the Peacock's Tail. Okay, magic coming in is abundance for your past efforts. You are expanding in the sphere. You are bringing these sparks of light, so you're receiving the sparks of light, and you're being completely true to who you are. You, because of your loyalty to who you are and what's right for you, this abundance keeps trickling in. You are acting from this place of humility, this place of knowing that this magic is not of you, it's of your destiny, and the magic that is illusory and is this external gaze that is warped. You don't buy into that. You see what is true abundance. You see what brings true joy. And you are doing so well for yourself spiritually because you see life in color. You don't let lower energies bring you down, bring you to this negative mindset of worrying what other people think. I think you've seen how this beauty comes in, how this soul fulfillment, and you've learned what works and what doesn't work to bring in this fulfillment in your life. And this magic is because you don't feed into the smoke and mirrors magic, because you see it objectively for what it is. You are given true magic because you don't claim that kind. You are given this pure, bountiful abundance spiritually, where you get to live a life of joy, of happiness, of being excited to see what happens next in your life. You, because you you know there's two types of magic, and you know one isn't real. You know one is people's perception. And because you're able to discern that and separate it from real magic, this real magic comes in abundance. There's so much color here, and I really think this is because you have had these experiences, because you've really humbled yourself. You've humbled yourself in the sense that you feel spirit working through you, and you feel all the gifts it gives to you. You don't think you're better than anyone else. You don't think that you deserve more than anyone else. You simply are who you are. And don't let how people perceive things change your mindset about yourself. You're worthy regardless of anything externally. And really, this is the utmost bliss and happiness and fulfillment. I mean, external things inevitably are going to hurt sometimes. External things are inevitably going to make us feel bad. But you have stayed the course in your destiny to the point that you're able to discern when that's happening faster and move out of it into this abundance energy. I really see, because you have this knowledge, you're able to channel this high vibration into the world because it comes from this humble place, because you're not trying to impress anyone, to be that star. You just are who you are, and you're living your life as you are. That's how this beauty, this channeling, this love comes through. I think that really this is love of the universe, and it comes through because you have discernment of what's soulful and what's not. And I think you've continued to cultivate this, and you live a life of beautiful color. I'm the word coming into my head is I'm flabbergasted at how, you've been able to face these challenges, and you're you are a role model for people who want to have this fulfillment in their lives. You are able to show the beauty that can happen if you stick to this humble path, stick to this curiosity, this open-mindedness, not letting life determine who you are, letting your soul determine who you are. Okay, this is really cool. Pile 4. So we have the moth and the bat. This came up for pile 3 too. I think that pile 3, if you feel called towards it, has messages about your purpose and the foundation that you work off of. But moth is kind of the grass is greener, worrying about maybe I should feel this way, or maybe I should want this. And I think that that is something that as a human, it's impossible to escape. This, oh, that looks better than what I have, or this, maybe I should be doing this. And Spirit's saying you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. And anytime this comes in, no, it's a part of the ego. It's a part of human nature. It's not something we can avoid or get rid of completely. It's like when you see, I definitely talked about this in another pile, but when you see somebody with short hair, you're like, and you have long hair, you're like, dang, I really like that short hair. I bet I'd look better with it. And then you cut it and you see someone with long hair and you're like, I really wish I had long hair. Like life would be so much better and happier if I had this long hair. So we can't help it. This is how life is. There's been times where I've really wanted something and then I get it and I'm like, I kind of wish I had, wished for what I'd had before. It's so silly. It's just, I think, the human condition. And you're able to transmute this, transform this into being aware of these situations. This is a level of self-awareness and awareness of the world that is very, star is peeking out, very blessed and beautiful. And I really see you being able to look at these things in life at face value and give them to Spirit, give them up, knowing that there's forces that can help you. Like I'm thinking of the moon, bringing you back that groundedness, bringing you back that consistency, knowing that you will always be taken care of and you don't have to let these lower energies bring down your energy. For some reason, there's some children's book with a bat that I'm thinking of. If you know what I'm talking about, I think it has to do with someone finding where they belong and knowing that, learning again and again that things aren't where they belong. And I think you know where you belong in your heart. And I think that this is your true power, is knowing what's meant for you, really what's meant for you. So let's look at the cosmic cards. So I used to have this deck before I got rid of some, I don't know, I went through a phase where I got rid of some things to let more come in. I do believe that if you're working on a project, you can't come up with any ideas. If you let some of them go, if you delete certain things, new ideas will come. It's like opening space. So anyway, I did that. And this deck used to have, or had planets lining it, and it was so beautiful. And this is beautiful too, but this is me, I guess, doing this grass is greener. So that's interesting. So let's see, what is the magic coming in for pile 4? I have teenage dirtbags stuck in my head. Okay, Neptune, Aries, waxing gibbous, void of course, waning crescent, last quarter. Okay, you might have Aries in your chart. I see this fieriness in you kind of living life like it's a roller coaster and enjoying the ride. I think that you've been able to, when things don't work out, when things aren't going the way you planned, you have a really good detachment style and being able to trust in the things that change. I think right now you're going through simultaneously endings and beginnings and kind of culmination periods. And you're handling this with, you're able to experience this because you have this strength and connection to spirit. Neptune really is that spiritual energy, and because of it, you're able to discern the things that are leaving, why they are, and the things that are coming in, the things that have reached culmination. I think some really beautiful things have just happened for you. And with them coming in, other things are leaving. Kind of like that, throwing ideas out for more to come in. And I think Spirit's saying, allow yourself to mourn what leaves. What's coming in is so beautiful and exciting, and I think really everything you wanted. But that can be true, and it also can be true that the phase of your life that's leaving needs to be mourned. So, yeah. You see it going fast, but you have more time than you think to make peace with it and to just let it go. So let's look at the tarot cards now. This deck is amazing. I'm obsessed with it. It's the Cosmic Visions Oracle. Wait, no. It's the Prisma Visions Tarot. And this is the Oracle. So we'll look at the tarot. What incoming magic? The Lovers. Okay. So we have the Six of Pentacles, giving, receiving. 5 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. I recently got this deck. 2 of Pentacles. Okay, this is so funny because I've been getting these cards descending, and if you put them in ascending form, they create one picture. It's the coolest thing. I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Okay, so you're doing a lot of reflecting on what life has given you and what you've given life. I think you've had this chapter that you've been in that you're letting go of is one that you felt like you could give and take from the universe in a very balanced way. I think that it started with this balance because you were able to get balanced in your life, regulate your emotions, balance your material life. You were able to tap into the spiritual energy. And I think it brought you this collaboration of spirit and finding like-minded individuals who really connected with you as well. And that connection, that working together, I don't know if you'd had something that soulful in your life before. And I think there's something about maybe regret of not appreciating what you had when you had it. And I think that's part of the human condition. I think we all learn these lessons and there's no way around them. And they're what make us stronger. The things that you went through in that last chapter are what prepared you for this. You couldn't have avoided those lessons. And maybe you feel sometimes like you hold too tightly to things, or sometimes you fall, I'm seeing like mental limitations, sometimes falling into pessimism. And this is part of life. This says nothing wrong about you or bad about you. This is living. And this next chapter, the foundation is this Six of Pentacles. You're giving and receiving from spirit in a different form. And you've learned these lessons. You've learned from, I think something really cool about your spread is that you are a master learner. You listen to what spirit's teaching you and you act on it. You don't just sit. You follow that path. And I think there was just some things that needed to be released. And this could have also been from past lives, letting go of some things that were heavy. I think in the end, seeing how strong you were and how that led to this beautiful new chapter that you're so excited for, that's just, what more could you ask for? I do think that a big thing coming in is dialectics, how both can be true. You're going to miss this chapter and you're excited for the next one. You didn't always love that chapter, but you also see it as precious. We humans are complex. We can't just feel one thing. We're always going to feel the nuances of it, especially if you're tapped into your spiritual nature and can listen to your soul in that way. So let yourself mourn, let yourself let go of this past chapter. And yeah, I've talked about this in all the piles, but this guy reminds me of Van Gogh, and I love Van Gogh. I love Van Gogh. So yeah, focus on what you love, what brings you that happiness. Yeah, we are what we feed. So if we feed what makes us happy, that'll grow. And I see that's what you do. That's what you do. And you can be amazing at that and also let go of things that aren't as ideal. So I'm going to look at the Cosmic Prism cards now. Oracle cards. Cosmic Visions, excuse me. So let's see what we have in Coming Magic. 10 of Embers. 7 of Embers, 9 of Embers, 8 of Embers. So these are Wands cards. Spirit's reminding you that you're a fighter, that you fought through all of this, that you have this energy of the Phoenix, and I'm really seeing some like very powerful things coming in, very powerful opportunities. I think this is the main thing Spirit's saying here is don't underestimate your power. Don't underestimate, because you have magic coursing through your veins. And it's connected to you, it's connected to the world, to the cosmos, and you're just stronger than you even realize. You have more power than you even realize. And I think in this next chapter, you're going to see some of that manifest in reality. And you're going to feel stronger than you've ever felt, and bewildered by what's come in. So, yes. Also, yeah, here, the back of the deck is the Crow, and this is the Magician. You have the power to bring everything in that you dream of. Really follow what you're incredibly passionate about. Really follow what sparks that passion in you, because I'm seeing that's where your flame grows brightest. And as this crow, as a spiritual person, these feelings are there for a reason. And yeah. Cool. So this is what I'm getting for you, Pile 4. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you soon.